Hello everyone, Simon here from the Worlds of Wall Street. We have an awesome AMA ahead of ourselves in this video today with Kaze from Datachain. This is one I've been looking forward to for some time. I am an investor of DC, the token of Datachain. I'm very interested in seeing a bit more intricate detail into the project. There's obviously only so much research that you can do. So hopefully this video opens the eyes up to all of you guys out there and for myself as well, always learning. So let's get into this and we'll go into the interview with Kaze. Enjoy. Okay, so today we are joined by Kaze from Datachain. This is super exciting. Pleasure to welcome you on the channel, my friend. It's been a long time coming and we're finally here. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Good. Yeah. So for those that don't know much about like Datachain and perhaps yourself as well, and particularly for me, I'm well excited about the aspect of your background and how you came to, found the Datachain and the Brain Cities aspect. Do you want to just have maybe a quick breakdown on those two elements for our audience? That'd be great.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Kaze. I'm a software engineer from La Sorbonne in Paris and from ECE. And for several years, I've been working in the open source industry, working on framework like the framework Drupal. So it was the whole days of PHP and moving from PHP 5 to PHP 7 and also all the Linux technologies. And in 2011, I had the chance to work on one first big project, big data project. And this is how I moved from software engineering to everything regarding data, big data, etc. Awesome. So I was working as a consultant at the time, and my rate became very expensive. And the companies that was employing me at the time asked me if I could create my own firm in order to be able to keep the partnership running. So I did so. And I learned the amazing world of recruitment, talent management, and so in 2013 I created Brain Cities, who in the beginning was human capital and HR management platform powered by artificial intelligence. And we had a chance to work with large companies like Porsche, for example, in Germany, and NL as well, and many others. And we end up being constrained by the GDPR regulation in Europe that was imposing to any data companies to be able to, in some way, give the control over their data to the people. So that's how we the notion of decentralization pop up in my mind, and people from Iconic Lab in Frankfurt, Germany, invited me to join them, join their accelerator, and that's the moment where the idea of a Datachain start rising in my mind. So at the time, I had a small team of maybe five people at Brain Cities, and by the end of 2019, we were like 13 people with full-time employee, contractors, etc. And we start also seeing the first market traction for the Datachain Foundation. We had the project with Dubai DND and HPE, and all along the road, obviously, we build a lot of partnership and a very strong ecosystem made of both people coming from the innovation research institution at the European Commission level, but also a lot of corporates that join us. So the first of them being SAP, that we had a partnership with SAP. I think it was like in 2017. They literally fall in love with the data management infrastructures, and because of the disruptive aspect of the paradigm that is underlying this technology. So basically, what we have been able to create is dynamic encyclopedias about anything. And by being able to create these dynamic encyclopedias, we entered the field of digital twins. And if you are able to make, for example, a dictionary of a car, and if you are able to gather information continuously on the car, you are able to create some very interesting models that are able to predict the wear, that predict the what I like to call the maturity of evolving processes. So it has been very exciting, and for the HR, we use our technology in order to predict people career paths, to do matchmaking between one individuals and the team, because we have an obsession about behaviors at Brain Cities. We have been able to create some very interesting human capital management platform for the large corporates, so companies from let's say 20,000 to 100,000, and even a city would be able to use this technology to manage the let's say unemployment or employability of their inhabitants. And for the data management platform, we have been able to use it for two main industries. On one hand, identity management. So it was a project with the DNID and HPE in Dubai. And the other one that is very significant, because we had other projects, but they are minor, I would say. But the big project, and I think that's the breakthrough, because it's the open door to what we call Internet of Everything, which is much bigger than IoT and almost everything. Everything that we are testimonying right now is leading us toward the Internet of Everything. So, and it's the project that we made with the people from Den Haag in partnership with Odyssey. It's I would say French ONG that is not French ONG, a Dutch ONG that is based in Amsterdam, and they're organizing one of the biggest hackathon in Europe about blockchain. Yeah, you know, it's created something named Conscious City, and we participated to Conscious City Challenge. And we came up with this idea that instead of, in order to be more efficient in terms of public asset management, what we had to do is to convert every asset that the city owned into autonomous entities. So providing them what we call embedded artificial intelligence, embedded data storage, and embedded crypto wallets. So I will just tell the story so that everyone will be able to understand. And by telling the story, people will be able to understand the potential of the technologies that we come with. So imagine you're not a smart light, but let's say that you are smart light. Now you have computation capabilities, you have data storage capabilities, and you have a crypto wallet that contains some DC or any other crypto, doesn't really matter. So the city paid for the infrastructures and the deployment of these three components in all the smart light of the city. And you, as a smart light, one of your components is not working properly. So you proceed to what we call auto diagnosis. So you make your self-diagnosis and you identify that the component A or B isn't working properly, is consuming too much energy, or is not consuming energy at all. So you send your report to the person in charge of the management of the asset at the city hall, and you validate your diagnosis. And then what you can do now, you can contract with one of the service supplier of the city. So you select among them. If we want to be very complex, we had the human capital management layer. If we want to keep it cool, we just say, okay, this one has the best price, so I select this one. And then as you are a very advanced AI, you are able to book a meeting with one of the technicians of the city. So you book a meeting, And the guy arrived the day of your date, and the first thing he would be doing is scanning the QR code that is engraved on the smart light.
Yeah.
This enabled him to be in contact with the artificial intelligence and start interacting using human natural language in the exchange, in the conversation. So the technician will ask you, when was the last maintenance? What is the reason of the intervention? And you, as the smart light, will be confirming that actually the company A isn't consuming energy for the last X months. And you estimate that will be a cascading effect that will lead to you not being able to function anymore. In advance, you have been ordering the components that is not working properly. So the technician, when he came, is bringing this component. Now you are very advanced technology, very advanced AI, and you are smart. So you understand that the technician may not know exactly how you function. So you provide him with a video tutorial to help him make the maintenance. And once the intervention is finished, it's completed, you make a new diagnosis. And if everything is working properly, you take the money that you have in your crypto wallet and you pay him. You pay the company directly. So there is no months of waiting for getting paid for the contractor. The city doesn't need to be looking for budget because the budget is already allocated, and it's a budget that is augmenting, which value can augment, increase with time, basically. So, and for the inhabitant, what is interesting is that maybe they don't need to be paying more tax because the cryptos that the city has been deploying enables them on one hand to get some benefits, and on the other hand, controls the increase of the taxation of the population of the city. So this is one example of what we can do with the technology. So imagine that applied to the living beings, like trees, for example. You can do that for trees. We have been, when we were in Dubai, we have seen a lot of palm trees that was dying, and basically, if you are able to put some sensor in the trees, you are able to monitor a lot of things like how many mushrooms or the we speak about salinity in French. I don't know, of the trees, and then you can anticipate a lot of things and avoid the city wasting water. And one of the partner with whom I'm working here for the accelerator is here in Guadeloupe. They have the same problems, and he told me 1 tree per year is 20,000 euro. It's very expensive. It's like a fortune that is burning in the desert in Dubai. So, and for reforestation projects or any kind of environmental project can use this technology. And that's why I'm saying that we are entering in a new dimensions for not only for data extraction, but a real use of data that will lead to a more, I don't like the words sustainable, but harmonious society. People, human being able to, on one hand, understand what their environment is saying to them. So what is the buildings that is right across the road telling you about the heat that is it has to be supporting every day, the water, the humidity, so that you can anticipate troubles that can come in the future, and have a better management of the assets of the city. Even the road, you can make a smart road with this methodology as well. So yeah, it was a very huge, long introduction.
That's amazing. No, I think you've answered a couple of the questions already. So part of my background is in IoT and AI. So I relate heavily to that. And you mentioned about Internet of Everything, actually, like the next phase of automation and algorithms, and I guess within your name, of course, the word data. Data is a massive part of our world now, and this whole, blockchain tech and everything that you guys are doing is just going to take this to a completely new level that people just can't perhaps comprehend right now. But we're seeing it already. And you mentioned about, it's funny you mentioned trees, because I grow palm trees at home. I have maybe like 30, 40 from seeds, and it's actually really hard to level the, and the acidity and all of this stuff. And can you imagine, like, everything, our food, our harvesting, everything done on algorithm? Absolutely incredible. So I really appreciate that intro and breaking it down as well, because some people out there don't know much about IoT or AI, or it's really important. So thank you for that.
I think that's for me, for the I believe that the future of crypto is in machine-to-machine transaction. It's not in human transaction, because if you understand the amount of data machines are exchanging per second, you start understanding what is the real potential of cryptos.
Absolutely.
Obviously, what I'm describing is something that might be happening maybe in 10 years, okay? Because right now, nobody really understands what blockchain is, what is its potential, what are the industrial use cases, application of the technologies, and we are in the greed moment. We want to get benefits from this new opportunity. While I believe that we might be able to create something bigger. Actually, at the Datachain Foundation, we are not anymore talking about blockchain. The Datachain for us is a rope. So because from the moment you are able to endow each entity with a ledger, each ledger is part of a rope, and a rope is largely more robust, more resilient, and you can endow with regenerative capabilities that you cannot do with a blockchain. So there is a lot of flaws in the design of the blockchain that we have identified, but right now we are nobody. We are just a small team making and breaking stuff in Paris. But if you arrive and to tell to people that, hey, your idea of blockchain is good, but having a rope is better. It's because in a rope, even if you have one string that is not strong enough, it doesn't really matter, because the amount of string made the rope very robust, and the way you intertwine each string with the others make the whole designs stronger.
Sure.
And but I think that we will be talking more about this concept of rope in the future. Now it might be too early.
I can already see like loads of AMAs lined up in the future with yourself. That's really cool. That's super. So I guess you touched upon a couple of the partnerships in the intro. For us on this channel, a lot of our audience, and myself included, are quite involved heavily in research and things around the European Commission. So I think reading back in the historic documents of yourselves, I think you guys had some funding from those guys a while back. Do you guys do much with the European Commission on an ongoing basis? I appreciate you might not be able to tell every single intricate detail, but in terms of how important that is, because you mentioned about being in Paris now, but actually taking this to another level. And of course the next level up from countries is of course general regions and continents, i.e. Europe and then beyond. So do you do much with those guys moving forward, and perhaps any other interesting partnerships that you guys have involvement with right now that make not necessarily speculative investors or anyone, but just general people interested like myself in blockchain and technology? What kind of things are you working on?
So the European Commission helped us to meet with people from SAP, for example.
Okay.
So we have been contacted with one of the commissioner. I don't remember the name of the organization, but she actually made the introduction. Because obviously they are monitoring all the innovators and that are popping all around in Europe, and they felt that actually would be a very good match with people from SAP at the time, and they were right. It was a very good match. We have been collaborating with ACP for like 5 years, and they helped us to actually understanding what is being a software editor, because most startups are startup, but very few startups can become software editor.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was the first collaboration that we had with them, with a very, very interesting a milestone being the partnership with SAP. And then they made a lot of introduction with investors. The problem with the investors that they have in their ecosystem is they are very conservative. That people that actually are not trailblazer, or people that are paving the road, or disruptors. Okay, that people that are actually very focused on what is working right now. And for the last decade, it was SaaS companies, basically. SaaS startup was the platforms, the startups are grabbing all the funding. So arriving and saying that we will be software editor in the AI and in the blockchain industry wasn't very paying off from the invest perspective. And as I always say, if you are making something very complex, not everyone can understand it, because you have to find investors that are not focused on the present, but that are focused in what the world will become in 10 years, 20 years. And there are not a lot of them. There are very few investors in this case. We have been able to find one business angels that have been able to support us for let's say 4 years. And then we had another one, and we had also, as I mentioned them in the beginning, people from Iconic Lab as well. They put money on the tables. And in 2018, we had the funding from the European Commission, and we were granted the Sharakova Marie Curie Prize, and for the excellency of innovation and research. And it was because we had one PhD in the team, but also because we are building very cool stuff. So, and when you look at the roadmap of the European Commission right now, where they are trying to push for digital identity, one digital identity for all the Europeans, okay, habitants of the European Union. You can understand that what the work we have been doing with HPE and DNID about identity management. Honestly, if you look at the documentation we published maybe I don't know 2 or 3 years ago, and what we might be heading, there are a lot of things that we brought on the table that might be getting used right now. Obviously, they are making it in a very decentralized way, while we made it in a very decentralized way. So this is the two, let's say, one of the issues of collaborating with this kind of institutions, sure, because they will be sourcing ideas from innovators, and they will be using it in a way that is totally different from what the innovator intention was in the beginning. So they also brought us a lot of methodology, because if you want to get funding from the European Commission, you have to be very well structured in terms of organization. You have to make reports. I think it was like every 3 months, because the contract are like 2 to 3 year contract with them, and you have to deliver some milestones. So it's not like you get some funding during an ICO and you tell to people, yeah, we'll deliver, and you never deliver, because if you don't deliver, actually you have to refund, and they will be chasing you if you don't, basically. But it's good for the business. It's good if you want to grow your business, your company. If you want to structure it in a proper way, it helps a lot.
That's awesome. That's really appreciate the answer. And yeah, I can say I think it's important that everyone sort of realizes, whether it's investments or like technology in general, we're still, albeit like, Bitcoin blockchain started 2007 or so, and that's already like pretty much 15 years ago now, which is crazy. We have to think, five, 10 years in advance. Like, it's difficult sometimes for people's minds to think that ahead, but patience, it can be rewarded. But you can obviously see, like, you guys are in that that beginning stage that's going to be so fruitful, in my opinion, for you guys and obviously everyone in the space. So yeah, that's really interesting. And I guess, like, that kind of nicely tails on, actually, like, to maybe further developments, deployments and things like this, because me personally, I'm a big fan of, like, Zinfin, the XTC Foundation, everything. And I know our audiences as well. We're pretty solid and big believers of that kind of mechanism. So I think it was towards the end of last year, when Zinfin announced, like, their reviews and stuff, and they also mentioned Datachain in there, about you guys utilizing their XRC20, I think, aspect, like, deployment. So I guess, like, mainly the kind of maybe a bit more of an understanding, like, your relation with Zinfin or XTC Foundation, whichever one, with them, and, like, why you chose them, I think is probably an important question. And I know that definitely answers one of the community questions out there as well. Maybe you can bring some light to that kind of.
Yeah, sure. I think that back in September 2021, we were still very focused on research, innovation, and building our stuff in our corner, Eden, like lab rats. Okay,
sure.
So I met KG.
Oh, right, cool. Yeah,
you see, and he's the reason for all of what is happening right now.
Nice.
He's the beginnings of everything that is happening right now, because he accelerated the roadmap for, like, maybe 2 years. We should have been doing what we are doing right now in 2 years, and it was like, hey guys, let's do that. Why don't you? And I like to go with the flow. That was one of the first rules that people from the Founder Institute teach me when I was making their program a few years ago. And you have to go with the flow. Sometimes when you see a door opening, just say yes and try. And so KG introduces us to the Zinfin team. People like Sal, Matthew, Billy, etc. And the first thing they asked me, because they were interested in what we are doing in artificial intelligence, in AI, is to understand if we would be able to build something that would enable the community to basically have better interaction. So this is I think it's a proposal that we made, that we published somewhere. And obviously we made it like lab rats. Once again, we made a 30-page documentation explaining the vision we had about smart Oracle, and how smart Oracle would be able to manage the relation between members of the community, identifying with those that have the most skills, competencies, matching them with others, and enabling them to basically build project together, being mentored, etc., etc. So, and we made the evaluation of the project, and basically it's another startup because it's something obviously most communities would be interested in, because the idea would be also to provide the scoring of the community, and it will give a trust markup or indicator to the community. So if done properly, it would have enable people to identify scam, for example. So this was our first contact with the people from Zinfin. And then I started thinking about I brought everything in the design of the Datachain future blockchain, which is a ROP, which is not a blockchain. Mm-hmm. And I say that I've seen a lot of potential in Zinfin, because my belief is that I believe in interoperability, and I believe that not every protocols must be used for every use cases. So I believe that one use case, one protocol. And so if you look at the IoT smart cities use cases, you cannot use something like Ethereum. Ethereum is way too expensive. It's consuming, it's taking way too much time. Sure. So you need something lighter, faster, and cheaper. Because if you do machine to machine, and if every transaction price is like a €6 or $6 or even $1, you cannot, nobody can afford that. So I saw that the XRC20 protocol would be a good match for for smart cities and IoT and Internet of Everything project. So we deployed one first version of this token on the network. Okay, and now we start building some use cases that are mainstream, but it's B2C use cases, because we want people, we want volume to simulate as many cases as possible. So you asked me in the email what does Odyssey do about all of that, and I was saying actually Odyssey is the whole Odyssey project is a simulation engine. Mm-hmm. So it's a simulation environment, and if you okay, for me there's two trends. On one hand, you have the Internet of Everything. And on the other hand, you have the Web3. Okay, for me, Web3 is not a revolution. It's just an evolution of the internet that we know for the last 30 years. And the big word about the Web3 is the convergence. Everything is converging into simulation environment. Okay. Like if people that have been watching The Matrix understand what I'm saying. Everything is moving throughout this kind of simulation environment, where basically if you have a large scale project, you are able to, before deploying it or testing it in the real world and spending a lot of money, because you will obviously make some mistakes, you can simulate it in this virtual environment, test all the possible scenarios, evaluate all the outcomes, and then say, okay, it should be working this way in the real world. And instead of spending maybe $1 million or whatever, you have spent like 100,000 USD. Mm-hmm. And still you have the possibility to have a whole community that is engaged, that participate in the experimentation, because they do believe in what your simulation engine is trying to accomplish. So if you talk about, for example, climate change, for example, so when it comes to Odyssey, Nanoverse, Odyssey Republic, one of the idea we had was to basically being able to change the parameter of the climate within the Nanoverse, depending on the behaviors of the community. And so telling to people that in 10 days, we don't have water anymore, or the trees will be dying, and having this change in the environment, the climate of the Nanoverse, impacting the avatar of people. So many people in the community already purchased their avatar. Things that we sold like 10, 15 avatar. Avatar will have not exactly the same properties like humans, but you need to feed your avatar. You need to your avatar will need a home. It will need energy. It will need everything that a normal human being needs. And by doing so, we will be able to have a real experimentation of what it means to basically having an impact on the environment, for example, or driving a car in the nanoverse and seeing how, depending on how you drive your car, you will impact the wear of the engine, for example. You can do that. Or I don't know, making some new, experimenting new democratic system, having decentralized NGOs in the nanoverse. So you can simulate political, economical, industrial, environmental challenge within the nanoverse. And I think this is the real interest of this metaverse that people are pushing right now. Okay, gaming is okay, it's okay. But what is gaming? Instead of gaming is basically impersonating and incarnating a role, and this role could be anything, and very often something that is useful. So
that's good. I think that's great, and that's good to hear as well, because actually I work in metaverse gaming, and I know exactly what you're talking about here. It's just going to be a crazy few years to come. I'm like super excited.
I think we're not even ready to what will be. You know, you have a lot of faces saying that we are living in a simulation already. So imagine if our physical body was a slave, the same way people will have avatar in the nanoverse. And their slaves are made to experiment this environment, this and it's possible, because I've seen some people now they are pushing some haptic combination. Okay. So if it's well done, honestly, you can feel almost everything.
Of course.
And as the brain is very the brain is an hologram, so for the brain, the reality is an hologram. So for him, it will be very difficult to mind what is real, what is not. So from a technical standpoint, it's very interesting. From a societal or political standpoint, it's risky, because you can imagine a totalitarian system where you force people living in this combination and park like in the Matrix. So
this is where the regulation stuff comes in, and expertise is really important, not just from technological aspect, but obviously the mindset of society, behavioral studies, behavioral insights, everything, different age groups, like the affecting on the mind, like you say, is like the area that I work in is all this play to earn, view to earn, the metaverse, and it's like there is a moral ground here, a level where you cross it, and then it's like you may not come back because your mind is confused, or you think that this life is better than the one we're given, and then you're confused, and there's so much. And again,
absolutely. And I think that's the metaverse and the will be when they will be matured, there will be very powerful programming tools. So that's where philosophy, ethics come in place. That's where basically instead of saying that it's an epiphenomenon, it's a small fundament for nerds or geeks, whatever. I think that's the moment where thinker should be starting actually infusing moral, because it won't be very different from the reality. Because right now you can kill someone socially on the social networks. You can kill someone socially on Facebook, Twitter, etc., etc. So what if, for me, the metaverse is the internet at its 10 times or 1,000 times the power of the current internet, with the fact that people might be isolated, and that a lot of people are pushing toward the fact that people need to reveal their identity in the nanoverse, etc. And I don't believe that is a good idea. I think that if you want to keep this frontier between what is real and what is not, using avatar, using pseudonym, etc., should be something that is encouraged and supported. While people in the real world would stay the people, and then in the nanoverse they are someone else. And the other thing is that we may have the opportunity to get control about our digital twins, because right now the digital twins of each of us is under the control of Facebook, Google, Equifax, some companies that many of us don't even know exist. But if you talk about Equifax, for example, I think in 2016 they had like a data breach of 300 million people, where people identity, passports, credit card was breached basically. Crazy. And nobody knows who they are. So you don't know who they are, but they can still put your life in danger. So I think the people that need to be regulated are large organizations like that are basically robbing our value, because you said it earlier, data is probably the most valuable assets of our time. Data is gold, maybe diamond, maybe, okay. So I think it would be fair that we, the people, and the communities get a share of this value as well. So in order to, let's say, maintenance the infrastructure, for example, or building new schools, or, you can do so much with that.
Yeah, no, that's a valid, massive point. It literally loops back really to the whole point of what you guys are about. It's data, isn't it? It's like, the regulation behind that, how it's controlled, how it's used, and as people now having a potential ability through blockchain to be able to be paid for your data, to be paid for your information, your usage, and arguably rightly so. I always say, like, time is money, but like also everything about you're giving without maybe even our knowledge sometimes data to other organizations and others. It's like, I want that power back. This is me. Like, so it's an absolutely brilliant point. So I think actually, Kaze, we've like gone through quite a lot of topics here and actually answered a few from the community, which is really good. So it saves a bit of time there. But I've got a couple of like community questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to loop two in together, actually. Or maybe three even. So we got one question about staking mechanism potentially of Datachain. I'm obviously interested myself about that. And anything related potentially to something around like trade finance applications of DC, maybe some kind of like wallets, and any farming applications that might be coming in the near future as well. So I thought I'd just wrap those three into like one aspect, maybe even in general, to also conclude the AMA as well, is what is coming essentially in 2022 for DC that will excite everyone, both as investors and, as I said earlier, people like me are investing as well. But the general interest of what you guys are doing.
Yeah, sure. So for me, 2022 is focus on the community. And on one hand, building a trust relationship between us and the community. So we are currently inviting members of the community to join the 2022-2024 advisory board.
Great.
So there are people coming from the crypto communities, but there are also people coming from the corporate and industrial industry, mainly people we are continuing the partnership with HPE. For example, HPE will be one of the major partners of the accelerator, because they will be providing and helping us manage the decentralized data management node here with a supercomputer. So imagine having a supercomputer here. We also building a trending partnership with people like Mind the Bridge. Mind the Bridge is one of the largest and most powerful corporate innovation firm in the world. they helped us get a contract with Enel, for example. So this is for the community part, building trust, providing return on investment to our investors, having strengthening our relationship with the VC world as well. So we may have one major VC entering in the project, in the community right now. So I say we may because we have an NDA with them.
Of course. Yeah.
And
I was hoping for some exclusive info there, but no, that's fine. I understand.
Yeah, it's a big one. So that one is quite big, and it will help the community and Datachain Foundation accelerate the roadmap and providing some cash out to the community. So my focus is on how to enable the community to have cash out, even if we are in a down market, and how do we make sure that the intrinsic value of the DC is still and stay at the highest all the time. So this is where why we decided to make the DC an hybrid asset. We are tangible and digital. So we talk about digitization of the DC. And so people will be seeing the silver DC. I already posted some picture of it. They'll be seeing the gold DC. That one is harder to do. It's because gold is very fragile. But we find a way to do it. They will see the DEX, the DC DEX, the decentralized exchange for the Datachain, and also centralized exchange for the Datachain Foundation. Awesome. Because the idea is to basically connect the accelerator and the decentralized the exchange, where basically people will be voting for the startups that can join the accelerator and that can be listed on the exchange, and all of this startup using the data management infrastructures, wow, the supercomputer, etc., etc. So the community is at the center. We are also creating a mechanism where we provide some cash out to our investors. So, for example, people that participated to the pre-sale, to the private sale, the pre-sale in 2019, 2020, 2020, the people that participated in the private sale from 2021 to 2022, and the people that will be participating to the bridge one. For every USD they will be investing, in some cases they will receive the 150% return on investment, a cash out paid in USDT. Okay, and if you participate to the bridge round, you will receive a 200% return. Basically, if you put one, you will receive one. Why are we doing that? We are doing that because we want to have a core community of investors of 500 people that will be helping us, supporting us in executing the roadmap throughout 2025 and then 2025, 2030. And to do that, we need to make sure that even if we have VCs that are getting into the community, we can still execute the project in the proper way with the values that we have infused in the community. So, for example, that's why in the Datachain Foundation Telegram channel, you don't see to the moon or all the traditional rhetoric you see on most crypto channels, because on one hand we cannot do that because we are working with corporates. So we have to be very cautious about the way we are communicating. And on the other hand, because this is not what we are, this is not our ethos. So we are trying to play for the long term, and we still want to become a major software editor for the IoT, AI, and blockchain technology. So we have to adopt specific behaviors, and a lot of people in the community are understanding that, they are supporting that, and we appreciate them for that. Regarding farming on platform like Bitrue, Bitrue is our MVP. We are testing, we are learning everything we can with them. We have several exchanges contracts on our desk right now. We didn't sign and we didn't launch with them because we understood that we would not be able to manage all of it. We are still a very small team, even if it looks like we are thousands, but we are applying a very rigorous project management methodology and processes. Working with one exchange, and the first that trusted us, the guy from Bitrue, actually visited us when I was in Dubai.
Brilliant.
And I appreciate that because I like human interaction. And they basically came and we had a coffee together, and we signed the deal. And soon there will be a very, very interesting farming and mechanism for them, because I believe that the community, crypto community in general, they need to be rewarded, because this is retail investors that are making the market. Okay. Even if they are not the ones that are always benefiting from the market, but they are the ones that are creating the high, and they are basically suffering during the low. So thinking about them, rewarding them when you have a good news, when, for example, you have a cash event or whatever financial event you have in the development of your project, thinking about them and saying, okay.
Sorry, guys. It's always a technical situation sometimes, but yeah. Sorry, Kaze. Yeah. So as you're wrapping up, basically about the community aspect and potential farming on Bitrue, I think in general that's kind of like wrapped all those big questions up at the end. If there's any last remarks that you have for the community and the audience before we close off the AMA, and obviously, I appreciate time, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, and anything else you wanted to add before we sign off?
No, I wanted to say that thank you for the community to supporting us that much. One of the reasons I actually decided to get more involved into the Xinfin community is because of their human engagement, the human touch, because the guys are not very, they are humble, okay? It's not like we know everything, we are able to do everything. The community is trying to build something steady and playing on the long term, okay? I like the culture that is, that you can see expressed in the social media, but also in every exchange, every discussion that I have with members of the community. So I wanted to say thank you for that. We are working hard, super hard. I will be sharing some video of the accelerator with all of you. I will send you a long video of the accelerator. Awesome. We made a 3-minute video yesterday about it, and so keep in mind what I've said. For me, you are part of the team, so making sure that every time we have a success, the success is shared with all the community and all the people, obviously, that are participating to the development of the Datachain Foundation project is one of my priority. So, so have no doubt about that. And yeah, let's keep it rolling, and let's get it to whatever summit we can reach. That's it.
Brilliant. Kaze, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I'm
Sheer pleasure.
To update AMAs in the near future, because we've covered a lot and there's a lot coming. I'm super excited. I know the audience is, and yeah, once again, thanks for dropping in. I appreciate you're busy, and we'll look forward to speaking to you very soon, my friend. Thank you very much.
See you very soon. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. So everyone, hope you enjoyed that AMA with Kaze. I think it was massively insightful. Apologies for the technical issues at the end there, but hopefully you got the major gist of everything throughout the AMA. And yeah, very much looking forward to doing more with those guys in the future. Do drop any further questions you have in the comments below, or indeed any points that you think about this AMA. Feedback is always good, of course, good and bad. But yeah, we'll look forward to the next one. And for sure, keep an eye on our socials for any other upcoming AMAs. We've got some big ones coming, so do make sure you drop those questions, because we always do try and get them answered. So guys, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next AMA. Bye-bye.